How's everybody doing today? So I'd like to talk about destiny and fate because a lot of people ask, and I had this, interest or I was wondering myself when I was younger, does destiny or fate exist? And I do believe it does in a certain way. And I'll explain that in a second here. But first we got to understand a couple things. I think you have two different fates and destinies, and it's based on a specific choice, and that's going on a spiritual journey. So let's say you weren't into spirituality or were any type of religion whatsoever, and you're just going to your day by day. You're going to work a job, you're going to make money, you're going to take care of your kids, whatever, like that's your life, and you're going to do it until you die or whatever. That choice will have a certain type of fate and destiny, and Zodiac has some play in that, but there was two destinies for you, and you chose one of the paths because you didn't take a spiritual journey or didn't actively seek some sort of truth, right? But there's the other path where you took your spiritual journey. Now, at first glance, it looks like the harder road. And it is at first. Your destiny and your fate become different when you take that spiritual journey. When you make a choice to become active in that, connection with the universe, things change. Now, one could say, oh, well, the guy was born, and if he wasn't going to go on a spiritual journey, he wasn't destined to go on a spiritual journey, right? We got kind of that paradox thing happening, but I don't necessarily believe that, because when someone goes on their spiritual journey, wondrous and miraculous things happen on a day-to-day basis. And if you choose to be connected with life and not just be negative, like I'm detached from everything, I'm not involved. When I pass away, I just go off into nothingness and existence. That somewhere along the lines, that person thought or came up with the idea that there was no connection, consciousness, or God or anything. They thought about it at one time and just didn't believe it, or they thought it was too much work to actively seek it in order to find something that they generally thought they couldn't see with their own eyes. So they either didn't believe it or just moved along. Now, I'm not just talking this sounds very atheist. I'm not just talking about atheism. I'm also talking about it can be Christianity too, because once you get into it seems like a lot of Christians, when they get into a certain mode, is like, oh, if they don't go to church on Sunday, then they feel guilt, or they won't have a connection with God unless they go to church, or they're actively reading the Bible all the time. So these ideas conjured up like when you got rules of religion around you. Now, in your spiritual journey, I talked about laws and some rules, but the only mishap that happens in the spiritual journey is if you have all this knowledge and don't use it, you will get you'll get punished. Like, since you're blessed with the access to the universe, it's like you're sitting there on the throne and you're not doing anything. But that's not the case with the Christian that felt guilt by not going to church on Sunday. It's not. It's unfathomably different, right? So, if you're on a spiritual journey and you meditate every once in a while, and you're giving out love, and you're generally being a good person with some sort of morals and ethics on some level, you are tied into a good connection regardless. Now, you're going to go through the wave pattern of that up and down, positive and negative energy, because you were just kind of staying neutral, so to speak. But you will have some serendipity if you have good morals and ethics and meditate every once in a while. So there's that. Like, you're not going to just be like thrown to the wolves forever just because you're staying somewhat neutral. But if you have a bunch of knowledge and you're not using it, you'll keep getting tested. Like, or I hate the term punished, but you'll keep having things come at you because it's like it's a punishment. You know this knowledge, why aren't you using it? Bam, throw something at you. Like, what it's doing is it's actually a positive thing. It's trying to activate you to get back in alignment again. You know, you're getting baseballs thrown at you. It's trying to activate you by dodging them and like, oh yeah, wake up. So we look at it as a bad thing, but it's not. It's to get us back on track again. Now, going back to fate and destiny, when you're on a spiritual journey, a lot of people find what their fate and their destiny is. They'll follow their intuition, and they're in alignment with everything they're doing. That doesn't happen so much if you're not on a spiritual journey. So that's why I believe there's two fates that happen. Fate 1, go about your business and not believe in any type of spirituality. Fate 2 is follow spirituality, and then you're following that fate and that destiny. So that's all I wanted to talk about today. As always, I greatly appreciate you guys watching my videos, and have a nice day.